Okay, good morning and welcome to our first quarterly business roundtable for 2022. We're super excited and humbled that you were able to join us this morning. I know we have a couple more that are going to be joining here throughout the first couple of minutes. I am Kelly Robertson Slagle, the Director of Economic Development. I did get a chance to see a lot of the names of folks that have registered this morning. Some familiar names down there and some new names to me. So I am excited to talk a little bit more about my background a little bit later in the program, but also very interested in hearing some of the questions towards the end. You'll see up on the screen there a quick breakdown of what our agenda is going to be today. We are going to get some opening remarks from Commissioner President Reuben Collins, followed by Commissioner Gilbert V.J. Bowling. I'll be going into a little bit of background about myself and then introduce some of the staff. We're going to provide a quick update on the Disparity Study, a reminder about the both of our small and minority business programs, and then we have some other staff joining us to talk about the Business Growth Advantage Program and then the Business Rehab Tax Credit Program, both new programs that we'll be launching in the next couple of weeks. Throughout, as you're listening and hearing a little bit about some of our new programming, I highly encourage you to jot some questions down because at the end we are going to be able to open it up for Q&A, and all of the staff will be a part of that. So without further ado, I would like to turn it over to Commissioner President Reuben Collins for some opening comments.
Thank you very much, Ms. Slagle, and good morning to everyone. I appreciate the opportunity to speak to you briefly today. As I mentioned during the EDD annual meeting last fall, our county continues to grow in population and diversity, as shown by recent census data, and we've welcomed new leadership and staffing in our Economic Development Department. Now is an ideal time to focus and refocus our outlook and review our economic development strategies to best serve our community and its changing needs. Freeman Habrowski, who many of you know is the president of UMBC, is famously quoted as saying that success is never final. By any measure, our residents have seen progress in our county's economic growth. To effectively understand where we are and what progress we've made, it is important that we measure our success. In recent conversations with our new EDD director, Kelly Slagle, we discussed some of the metrics used for measuring success in economic development. Our progress can be measured by noting increases or decreases in several relevant economic performance indicators, including Charles County's gross regional product, which is the final market value of all goods and services produced, the percentage of the workforce earning middle income wages, the local unemployment rate, local median income, the percentage of people living in poverty, and business activity in the county's core business districts, which are Waldorf, Indian Head, La Plata, Hughesville, Brines Road, and White Plains. You also may have heard me speak previously about the need for innovation, especially now that we're rebounding from the global pandemic. Innovation is even more important for positive economic development. In other words, what will Charles County's economy look like post-pandemic? As we measure innovation, we can point to indicators such as the degree to which we support efforts to increase county, state, and federal procurement of goods and services produced by local Charles County businesses, with a focus on small and minority businesses. We are also expanding our scope to include international trade, and we must track international performance indicators to measure success in that area as well. We need to look at new program development to increase foreign direct investments and exports. We also need to apply for and obtain a federal trade zone designation in strategic locations within the county. That's moving forward as we continue to progress as a community. That's right, success is never final. The commissioners continue to support and seek ways to enhance economic development in our county. By measuring our success over time, we will know when we have achieved our goals and where there is more work to be done. Additionally, we are increasingly aware of and committed to providing equitable resources and services to residents. This increases the need for county government to redefine how to allocate resources, measure the outcomes, and focus on where there is the most need. I'm excited about the county's economic future. I want to thank you all for your partnership as we work together to advance the economic development direction of Charles County. At this time, it's my pleasure to introduce my colleague representing District 1, Commissioner Gilbert Bowling.
Good morning, everybody. Thanks for being on. I appreciate the opportunity to speak before you all. And first, I want to thank you all for taking the time to be on here today and for bringing your business to Charles County and continuing to do business in Charles County. As Commissioner Collins was saying, I think it's important to reflect upon, these are wise words. People won't remember what you said or did, but they'll remember how you made them feel. And I think for me, over the last 3 years as a county commissioner, I feel like the business community, through speaking with them and reaching out, they feel welcome. They feel like the government is here to support them, to get them through the process, to get their permits when they need it, to streamline the process, and with new leadership that they are welcome here and supported here. And I think the baseline for any business to thrive here in the community or to relocate to the community is for them to know that the county government is a partner, not standing in the way of them expanding and getting bigger. And I think that says a lot for what we're doing here in Charles County, what we've done over the last 3 years. I think when you look at some of the organizations and businesses we brought in through partnerships regionally and nationally with some of our real estate community, we're expanding, we're getting bigger. And it's showing in the positive economic growth we've had in the county over the last 3 years. I can't say enough about our tremendous staff and what they've done to move us forward over 3 years. I'm so happy to have Kelly here. What she did in Calvert County, I look forward to her bringing to Charles County. And really, our job and my job as a commissioner is to listen to you all, to hear from you all. What are your challenges? What can we do better? I mean, I know we're near own a business quite as large as some of the folks on this call, but as a farmer, I understand what it means for the county to be a partner and to work towards making this a better community, not just for us, but for our entire community. And that means everybody. And as Commissioner Collins stated, our commitment to diversity and inclusion is about a lot of things. As the market changes, as the way people work changes, some of our community, especially in my district and Commissioner Coates' district, the internet service, we're working on the broadband expansion, is going to change the way we do business. People want to move here because of our wonderful parks, our infrastructure, and I think that's something that we've laid a baseline for to start bringing folks in. So the last 3 years is really a baseline and a start to what we hope to do over the next 4 to 8 to 20 years. It's not just about this group of commissioners. It's about setting us up for success, not only as a county, but as a business community. So really, I'm here to listen. I'm here to hear what I can do better as a commissioner and supporting you all. And with that being said, I'll happily turn it back over to Kelly. And thank you for being here. And I'm just going to listen. Thank you.
Thank you, both Commissioner President Collins and Commissioner Bowling, for your opening comments. And I would say you kind of pretty much took the words out of my mouth for the introduction. Those that are familiar with me and have worked with me in the past, I have a true passion for business retention, which is working with the existing business community. So whenever I have the opportunity to get in front of the business community, I always want to start with thank you. Thank you for locating your business, those on the call that are in business here. Thank you for choosing Charles County as your place to do business. I certainly understand, and our team understands, that you could operate your business in any jurisdiction in the state, in the country, or internationally at this, with technology nowadays. And the fact that you chose to open and operate your business here in Charles County is very humbling to us. I also know that we have folks that have been our business resource partners and big supporters of economic development, and other folks that are just interested in what we're doing, the ways that we can help and assist our business community to grow and thrive. So I wanted to start with that. As far as just a little bit about me, I know there's been some articles written, and I've had a chance to speak to a lot of the business groups. But for folks that are not familiar with me, I do have a little over 25 years experience in economic development, both at the state of Maryland level, the regional level, and then certainly at the local level. I've had the great fortune of being or throughout my career development, actively being a part of almost every facet of economic development now. And I really do feel like that's giving me a very strong foundation as my career has developed. I'm born and raised and currently live in Charles County my entire life. Seventh generation, my children are seventh generation. And I like to let folks know that both sets of my grandparents and my parents were both active business owners in Charles County. So I really, truly understand, because I grew up in a very entrepreneurial family, the day-to-day and the pressures of the day-to-day. And I think personally that's why it drove me or kind of geared my interest into economic development, because it was a way for me to kind of work with my passion of working with business owners and understanding it, and really try to provide some value and some assistance to help the local business community grow and thrive. As far as the first 60 days, I've really hit the ground running, thanks to the team here at Economic Development and certainly the support I've gotten from the county commissioners and the senior leadership team. I really tried to focus the first 60 days to listening. I have been out and I've focused on getting out and trying to meet with as many of our top 10 employers as I can. In addition to that, I've been out speaking and listening to our business resource partners. I've been able to have a lot of really dynamic meetings and really listen to, where their initiatives are, their pros and cons, kind of going through a SWOT analysis with where they feel the county is economic development wise, and what they're, where they feel we can best partner and work towards, positive things for our economic development community. In addition, I have met with all of my fellow department heads in county government, and I think that's important to mention because my personal opinion, I feel like economic development touches every part of what the county government services provide to the community. I mean, we really are kind of where the rubber hits the road. And as our economy does better and taxes are generated, that goes into the services that ultimately, turn back out and provide for our community, our residents, our quality of life. So it was very important for me to develop a strong relationship really right off the bat with my fellow departments. And that's I'm happy to report that's going really well. And the development community, Commissioner Bowling mentioned, and as Commissioner Collins mentioned, we've been pretty successful in getting some national and some statewide, some pretty big projects here over the last couple of years into the community. And that really is to a very strong relationship with our commercial real estate and our commercial development partners. So really want to get in, have had some meetings, and we'll continue to have meetings with them, again, to hear what's going on, pros and cons, where are areas that we can help, what are some things that you're seeing on the horizon, so we can be an effective partner with them. Business retention, I'm going to go back to that. Again, that is really helping, triaging, having an active relationship with our existing business community. I'm very excited to announce we have a new staff person, Anthony DeCina, who is our new business retention and expansion manager. He has been hired and he is fully dedicated to working with the existing business community. I think this is so important. And when I was interviewing for the job, I knew that this position was going to be hired. And I was just so thankful because in my philosophy is if we are not healthy on the inside as a community, we're really not going to be as effective as we can when we're recruiting businesses to look at Charles County. So you'll hear that a lot from me as you interact with me, and certainly the team has heard it several times now over the last 2.5 months as I've been here, is really taking the time to focus on our existing business community. So if I can, I know Anthony's on the line. If he can just pop his camera on and give a wave to the audience there. I want to make sure that you put a name with a face, because Anthony will be out in the business community as we start to be able to gather a little bit more. There's Anthony, if you want to wave and say hi. As we have an opportunity to gather more, you will see Anthony. So hopefully if you see him out, please go up and introduce yourself. Anthony he's knee deep in training right now and onboarding and kind of getting up to speed with us. He started January 4th and he's doing a fantastic job. And Anthony, I'm very happy and excited that you've joined our team. So thank you for that. And Anthony will be back on screen during the Q&A session towards the end. So thank you for that, Anthony. One of the projects that for those of you that have been following our updates, is our Disparity Study. And if you can switch the screen there. Okay. I'm going to give a quick update on the Disparity Study and where we are to date and where we're going from here. For folks that are interested in reading the Disparity Study, which was completed by Griffin & Strong, an outside consultant, and presented to the Board of County Commissioners in late 2021, if you go to our meetcharlescounty.com website, you'll see the arrow there pointing to the Disparity Study. If you click on that link, that opens a dedicated web page for the Disparity Study. You'll be able to find the report there. You'll be able to review all of the recommendations, the goals that are associated with it, and any new updates as we move along through the implementation plan. That is your go-to site. So make sure that you bookmark that. I suggest and highly encourage you to go back maybe once a month, check that site to see and read about the latest as we move through the deployment and the updates of the recommendations that were provided. Next slide. Specifically, as it pertains to the recommendations that are specifically dedicated, I'll say we're focused on here in economic development, are two areas. Recommendation number one that Griffin & Strong identified was really encouraging us to enhance the county's race-neutral small local business enterprise set-aside program. And I'll talk a little bit about that later, but we have set our goal to increase the number of participating firms with that SLBE program from currently we're at 201 firms, and our goal is to get to 250. Actually, my personal goal is to even go higher than that, but our internal goal right now is to increase it to 51 new firms by the end of this year. So you will hear us talking a lot about that program as well as the MBE program, but this truly is a race neutral small business program that any small business in Charles County can participate in. So that's the first recommendation. The second recommendation that really pertained to us in economic development was recommendation number 4, which was really improving our outreach of both the SLBE and the MBE firms, outreach efforts too. And we're going to be doing that in a couple ways. But one of the things that I did want to mention as far as a goal is we are going to be hosting monthly training events for minority and small businesses to really demystify the process. One of the things that I have seen over the years, and this is with any, kind of business program, certification program, I know there's probably folks on the line now that have either looked at it or gone through it themselves. And, looking at it, it can be intimidating and it can be cumbersome. And really our goal is to try to demystify the process and really break it down into small manageable parts. So that way we can really help and encourage our local small businesses to get through that program, get through the review process, get that, get on the list. So when we are ready to, launch the new procurement programs and opportunities, you're ready. You're there at the start line with us. So we wanted to, kind of pull those out of all of the recommendations that were in the Disparity Study and really hone in on the ones that economic development is focusing on. Okay, next slide. So how are we going to do this? I mean, how are we really going to try, put our best foot forward to communicate and do this outreach? And what we've done is, we've developed what I consider a very proactive communication outreach plan. And the staff has been working with this, over the last couple of weeks. We've added a couple of things in, and know that this is a working document for us. So this is kind of like our phase one. These are the things that we're going to work on developing and implementing, but know that we are always in tune, or try to be in tune, with our business community and our business resource partners that we really look at as being partners in this. So if there are other things that, might be, hey, this is a good way to hit a particular market that may be interested, whether it's business community groups, church groups, different groups that may be interested in this information, please reach out to us. We do, and we are developing kind of a traveling roadshow, and we will come out and speak to your individual groups. So things that we have listed here in front of you, we did host what I consider a very successful first kind of kickoff stakeholders meeting, where we invited in several of our business resource partners that are actively involved with doing, business assistance, networking, things like that with our small and local business community. We had several partners on that call. We invited in Griffin and Strong, who were the consultants that worked on it. They gave a fantastic kind of overarching, comprehensive PowerPoint about how we got here.
Sorry, could you say that again?
Sorry, Apple Watch just spoke there. If you guys heard that, I apologize for that. And we're able to give some kind of ideas for our stakeholders to help communicate and be there to help us in our outreach to the business community. We also had a great Q&A session, got a lot of really good ideas and things to think about over the next couple of months as we're, providing the training sessions, helping to build capacity, and most importantly, like I said, demystify the whole SLBE and MBE application process. In addition, we have database development for business outreach, and specifically what that means is we've been able to purchase a pretty comprehensive database of all of the businesses that are located in Charles County. Now what we're doing is we're really honing in, and we're really kind of breaking out subsets of that to really be able to be targeted in our outreach to our small and minority businesses. So if you are a small and minority business, or your colleagues, or you have other business, friends that are in business, please ask them, keep your eyes and ears open, because we will be possibly doing direct mail to them, or, reaching out to them during email, or doing targeted social media campaigns. But our goal is to really try to get our information in front of, that particular audience. We are updating our small local business enterprise website to add FAQ sections and ultimately make it a little bit more user friendly. So when folks go there, they'll get the information that they need. We're also working with our marketing and media department to develop a couple small videos, again, to break it down into easy to understand, phases to help our businesses go through it. I mentioned hosting regular training seminars, and I also mentioned we're out, and we plan to be out more, attending community and business events, educating and providing information about these programs. Next slide. So where are we going from here? Implementation plan. We've kind of checked off that first box, accepted the disparity study and report and its recommendations. We're working through that gap analysis. We have a really strong team. I call it the disparity study cross-departmental team. We have folks from our procurement department, our marketing department, certainly county senior leadership, economic development. We have a really good group across county departments that are working on this implementation and making improvements to our procurement and our county's purchasing processes. So I won't go through everything, but you can read there. And again, you can find more information about the disparity study as a whole on the meetcharlescounty.com website. Next slide. Just want to wrap up my portion before we jump to Lucretia. For folks that may be on the call that want to find out more right now, about the Small Local Business Enterprise Program and the Minority Business Enterprise Program. Again, a lot of information can be found on that Meet Charles County website. You'll see where the arrow is. If you go to Business Support, there'll be a drop down and you'll see Local and Minority Business Programs. If you click on that link, you'll be able to find the information there. I've been telling folks while we're doing our part, this is an excellent kind of homework assignment for our local business community, is to start researching. If you're not a part of this, please research, reach out to us, start the process of applying and getting certified. So that way, when we're ready at the start line, you guys are right there with us. So please take advantage of this time to look at this program. So I'm going to wrap up now. I am going to turn it over to Lucretia Freeman-Buster, who's the Chief of our Business Development, to talk about our new Business Growth Advantage program, which we're very excited about. Lucretia?
Thank you, Kelly, and good morning to everyone. The Business Advantage Growth Program is finally here. During our fall meeting, I provided an overview of the Business Growth Advantage Program. And as the economic development have been working through the recovery strategy, we have developed this program that I think would be very, very beneficial to our small businesses. Next slide, please. So this is an online training program for small businesses. This program, we have contracted or consultant a company to facilitate this program. And this will be an online program for now because of COVID. We hope we could have done it in person. But it will be an 8-week training program, one day per week and every day. And businesses will be allowed to participate from the comfort of their home or their offices to participate in this program. There will also be mentorship and networking during the program to give you the opportunity to network with your colleagues and other business owners that will be participating, as well as business experts. The next slide, please. So this is a very competitive program, and this is not a program for startup companies. You have to be in business for at least 2 years and have revenue. Your revenue have to be between $50,000 and $250,000 to apply to this program, and having an employee, not including the business owner. So this is a program for businesses that have the potential for growth, that would generate impact, create jobs for the county. So we are looking for businesses who have that potential, that growth potential. The next slide. As I stated, this is an 8-week training program. We will have multiple sessions, so multiple cohorts. So the first, we're anticipating to start that in March. So it's right around the corner in March. And we will be giving participants who will be accepted into the program and complete the program. You have to attend all sessions of the program, complete all work assignments, attend all sessions with your assigned mentor to be awarded a $10,000 grant that will be paid in 2 installments. The next slide. Some of the topics that will be covered, you can see them on here: cash flow pricing, but focus, the consultant will be focusing on building a sustainable organization infrastructure, because during our outreach program, during the COVID, currently going out and meeting our businesses or calling them, we did find some gap in organizational infrastructure, and I think this program would be so helpful to help our businesses sustain their operation. Also leadership, leading people and planning for growth, marketing, accounting, HR, legal, succession planning, which is one of the critical areas in small business as well. So he will be focusing on succession planning and preparing for credit, which is also critical for growth in small business. The next slide, please. So as I said, BCAP is here. I'm encouraging you to apply to the program. It's a very competitive program. Participants would be, or applicants who apply to the program would be interviewed and selected. You can go onto our website, meetcharlescounty.com, and you see where the arrow is. You want to click on business support and then business growth advantage program. You will find a lot of information about the program, the application process, the curriculum, and everything you need to know about BCAP. So I encourage you to submit your application when the application process starts. Thank you. Now I will turn it over to my colleague, Taylor Yule, who will talk about tax credit.
Thank you, Lucretia, and good morning, everybody. As the title of this slide implies, we are rolling out a new incentive to encourage property owners and investors to revitalize and reactivate vacant and underutilized properties in the county. The program is basically a property tax incentive and applies to commercial properties. One of the incentives or one of the restrictions is that the property be located in a priority funding area. And if you're wondering where they are, all of Waldorf, all of White Plains, Bryan's Road, Indian Head, Newburgh, Cobb Island, Hughesville. I probably left some out, but the map is easily accessible on the Maryland State website. The way that the tax incentive works is, the expectation is a property owner or investor will go in and they could demolish a property and rebuild on that land, or they could just renovate the building. And typically what that will cause is an increase in the assessed value, and that increase is where the tax credit will be based. So, the state of Maryland keeps all those records. They're easily accessible online. The tax credit is based on an annual declining percentage. So after the work on the building is completed and a UNO permit has been issued, the Maryland tax assessor will come in, assess a new value for the property. And so the first year that new value becomes effective is the maximum tax benefit of 100% of the increment. So, if you added a couple $1 million to your property, which falls within our realm of $100,000 to $3 million, then you would get 100% tax benefit on that increment in year one. Then it goes down to 80%, down to 60, 40, 20, and it's over in a 5-year period. So business and property owners need to apply. We're just fine-tuning our application now. We've got a standard operating procedure associated with the incentive, and we're really looking forward to kicking this off in the next couple of weeks. It only applies to ad valorem property taxes imposed by Charles County and doesn't apply to state, municipal, fire and rescue or fair share excise. But on the subject of municipal, the towns of La Plata and Indian Head have expressed interest in creating their own similar incentive. So Charles County's incentive would apply and could be applied in combination with those if they do indeed initiate that. So if you want to sort of visualize what the impact of this incentive would be, just think about what's going on in Indian Head, what they did with the Velocity Center, and now what they're doing with the shopping center across from the Velocity Center, which is now called Maryland Technology Center, but it is going to a total adaptive reuse, and it's going to accommodate high-tech defense-related jobs, and we also look forward to that as being a catalyst to attract even more businesses like that. So we're very thrilled about this. We've got a project down in Cobb Island that's showing interest, and I've been talking to an investor who wants to tear down one of the old single-family dwellings along Old Washington Avenue in the Waldorf Urban Redevelopment Corridor and build a 3-story live-work space. So we're excited about that too. That concludes my remarks, and I think subsequent to this, we're going to go right into general Q&A, so you can ask questions about that or anything else we presented this morning. And here are contacts. You can go on our website and find out more about that incentive, and we hope to have the application up and available next week.
Thank you, Taylor. Appreciate all of that information. Now, I just want to do a quick reminder to staff if you want to turn your cameras on, so everybody's on there. And then we are now going to move into the Q&A session. And if you could, those that have questions, if you can click on the chat box and then under the to select send question to staff. We do have Marcia Keith, who's our Deputy Director here in Economic Development, and Michelle DeSoto, who's also on our team, that's going to be monitoring that chat box and will, kind of be your intermediary with those questions.
So far, we don't have any questions that are submitted. So again, if you guys have any questions about the presentations this morning or other topics related to economic development, but in the meantime, one question that has come up previously, Lucretia, if you could talk a little bit about the consultant who is going to be presenting the BCAP program, maybe a little bit about the background and experience about this consultant.
Sure. I'm very excited to have this consultant on board, and it's Will Holmes, consultant, will be the consultant working with us. He has extensive experience in delivering these types of programs. He has worked with the Baltimore Economic Leadership League. He also has worked with Anne Arundel County Economic Development, Johns Hopkins Carey School of Business, Morgan State University, and Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Business. So as I said, he has extensive experience. He's going to bring a lot of this to us. And this is very practical. These are practical skills that he's going to bring forward to our businesses to immediately apply into the business operation, the day-to-day operation. So we are excited to move forward with BCAP. Thank you.
Well, there's interest for it because we've had 2 questions asking about the application, when it will be available.
Our goal is to have the application available by the end of next week, hopefully. We'll have that ready. And it will be on the website under the meetcharlescounty.com business support, and then you will get the information from there.
And I'm going to add this in, since we have some folks in our audience this morning who are interested. If you're interested in applying, please send us an email. Send an email to Lucretia. So I'm going to volunteer you, Lucretia, and let her know that you're interested so that we can notify you as soon as that application has been posted to the website and you can download it. Lucretia, also, how long do you anticipate the application process going before the actual training will be launched?
It would be ongoing. As I stated, we will have three sessions. So the application will be ongoing. Because if you do not make it in the first session, you could possibly make the second or the third. So I would say maybe for 2 months to have the application process open and select the different businesses for the different sessions.
We have a question for Taylor. Taylor has been asked to repeat the project that you described that is a 3-story workspace.
Sure. The project is located south of Old Leonardtown Road. It's still within the work. It's on the southbound side of Old Washington Road. There is a single-family dwelling there, and the concept is that would be removed, and a 3-story live workspace would take its place. My recollection, having looked at the plan, is that there would be probably 3 to 4 offices in there, one living space, and what they're referring to as a loft, which I think could go either way. It could go living space or office, but that's the concept. And I think that the investor is committed to it. I've been talking to the architect. Unfortunately, it falls just outside of the opportunity zone, but is in the work. And I think it's going to signal, I think it's going to be really the first significant rehab project along that south part of that corridor. So we're really looking forward to getting it off the ground. Is that enough detail?
I think so. Hopefully, if not, then whoever asked could let us know. In the meantime, we have a question about the SLBE and MBE program. One of the question is curious regarding the benefits of getting SLB certified or being a Charles County MBE. So I'm thinking, Lucinia, can you address that? Lucinia Mundy runs those 2 programs.
Yes. Well, one of the benefits, first let me start off by saying the program was enacted in 2012, and the purpose of the program was to, of course, promote the purchasing of goods and services from businesses that are headquartered locally right here in Charles County, Maryland. One of the benefits of being headquartered in Charles County is that when you do bid on a county government project, you as a SLBE firm will get a preference on your bid. Think of it as a bid discount, up to 10% actually, compared to your non-SLBE competitor. So that is one advantage, the bid contracting preference. Another advantage, of course, is you're being promoted on our website through our small local business enterprise directory, and we have over 200 buyers that look at that directory daily to obtain quotes from our local businesses, because there are businesses that's outside of the county that we could also look at too, but our primary goal is to focus on our local businesses that are headquartered in the county, because we know how important it is to strengthen our competitive edge and to use Charles County government's purchasing power to keep our small businesses growing and successful, those that are interested in government contracting. We do realize not everybody is interested in government contracting, but those that are, we want to make sure our dollars stay right here at home. So those are the 2 major advantages.
And I'm going to put in a plug for our weekly e-news and our blogs and our social media, because just this week on our department blog post, we had a blog about the SLBE program and a little more detail, and it also includes some links to additional information, including a really useful brochure that our purchasing department puts out that talks about some of the products, the typical products and services that the county buys. So be sure to go to our blog posts and read that blog, because that will have some additional information. And as Kelly talked about, We are going to be expanding both the SLBE and MBE web pages with more links to some information to make sure that it is very clear to our businesses about the advantages. You know, one of the things that Lucinia talked about is that the set-asides, actually all of what county government calls informal procurements, which is anything less than $25,000, are reserved for our SLB businesses, provided that we can get 3 local quotes. So it's a really very beneficial program, and the more businesses that we have participating, the more opportunity there is for those purchases to stay local as much as possible.
Marcia.
And then yes.
Real quick, I also wanted to just give a quick plug for our procurement staff, our county government procurement staff under finance. I have found them to be extremely helpful. So I just wanted to mention that to the business audience that's listening as well. You know, you can certainly come in as far as the SLBE and the MBE process, but if you have questions specifically about contract and bid opportunities, please feel free to reach out to the procurement staff. They are extremely helpful, and they want to be able to assist our local business community in providing information and background. So I just wanted to, before we jumped on to the next question, wanted to put a plug in for that team over there.
Thank you, Kelly. You're absolutely right. I couldn't agree more. We do have a question about ARPA. Has the county received ARPA funds? If so, will a spending plan be developed? Thank you. Kelly, if you don't mind, I'll jump in a little bit here, and in that a big part of the ARPA funding is going to go to the county. It would be better answered by the county administrator, though the Economic Development Department has received ARPA funding as well, and we can address that. We have set aside funding for both outreach and for training and grants, and the BCAP program is being funded by ARPA. And some of the outreach that we are going to be doing is also ARPA funding. So the county commissioners, I think, you know, again, in keeping with their focus on economic development, have been very generous with the Economic Development Department regarding carving out money from ARPA. And I see Commissioner Collins has turned his camera on. Commissioner Collins, did you want to comment on that?
Yeah, and what you're saying is accurate, but I wanted to draw attention for the individual that is asking the question. For next week, the county will be doing an update on our ARPA funding plan. So I think that would be a good opportunity to kind of hear directly how the county has visualized using these funds. In a nutshell, what the county views these resources as really once in a lifetime resources for governments, no matter what size, whether they be statewide or local jurisdictions. And so what we focused on is 2 primary areas. It's not limited to those areas, but primarily focusing on infrastructure. A major issue that the county has been addressing is problems associated with climate change and resulting in major issues with flooding. So addressing stormwater issues is one area that the county will be looking at investing those resources. And the second area, which is a continuation of a commitment the county has made, and that is to ensure that every single household in Charles County will have access to high-speed internet. So, you know, those are 2 areas, you know, but it's not limited. And I would encourage feedback from our residents on, you know, that what they view as appropriate ways to utilize those resources. So, I mean, because it is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for obviously not just Charles County, but, you know, jurisdictions throughout the entire nation that are receiving this infusion of cash. And we just deemed it a very important opportunity to deal directly with infrastructure issues. So,
thank you, Commissioner Collins. We have a couple of questions. People have asked for an update about Maryland Airport. So Taylor, and also one of those questions included, it says WUDC, but I think maybe he's referencing WURC, the work area. So if you could maybe, Taylor, touch on those two.
Okay, airport. The airport passed its first major hurdle in terms of the lands, the 550 some acres that are around the airport that were subject to a comp plan amendment. The amendment to the comp plan was put forward by a county commissioner probably 3.5, 4 years ago, and was undertaken, and so we've gotten to this point where that has been adopted, and so the next phase in the airport is to go into a rezoning process for those lands around the airport, and that would be a zoning text amendment, and we expect that that process will take a year to about 18 months or possibly longer. But once that's done, and if it is successful, then that will allow for employment supporting uses to be developed within that 550 acres. Understand that a lot of that land around the airport is undevelopable for various reasons. There's resource protection zones, there's steep slopes, there's a lot of issues to deal with. So we don't anticipate any sort of dense, even suburban development, but it will allow employment supporting and supportive development for the airport nearby on the better sites. The Waldorf Urban Redevelopment Corridor has been beset by engineering challenges from the get-go, and most of those have to do with stormwater runoff. And one of the big hurdles for stormwater runoff, and stormwater runoff, for those of you who don't know, I mean, when it rains a lot, and probably a lot of people in Charles County are familiar with this, rain's either got to drain off and go someplace, or it sits, and it floods. And so if you're going to go in and redevelop an area like the Waldorf Urban Redevelopment Corridor, you have to make sure that rain's got someplace to go. And we've got a big CSX rail line that runs to the east of that area, and that serves as essentially a dike or a dam for stormwater runoff. So that's been, we've been really bogged down in how we're going to deal with that issue, and that's why you haven't seen public improvements in the Waldorf Urban Redevelopment Corridor yet, because those public improvements, we essentially have to account for stormwater runoff before we can do roadway improvements and sidewalks and the other things that are proposed for that area. But nonetheless, these little single one-off projects like the one I just described, there's adequate infrastructure for projects like that to be developed. So we'll take what we can get for the time being. But again, I just had this discussion with planning and growth management, and they've sort of restructured the whole planning organization in terms of internally what their responsibilities will be, and externally what the consultants' responsibilities will be. So it took a while to get there, but we're there, and I think it's going to move forward soon.
Thanks, Taylor. We are fast approaching 9:30. I think we can get in one more question. And the question was, how intensive will the BCAP application be? Lucretia, do you want to take that?
Yeah, I'll take that. It's not very extensive at all. I mean, it's basic question being asked about your operation, what your goals and objectives are for your business in the future. Those basic questions. Some of the eligibility requirements that was outlined on the PowerPoint presentation. How many employees do you have? what have been your sales for certain fiscal year or year end. Basic questions. One page or 1.5 page, and you just have to attest that the questions that you do meet all of these eligibility requirements too. So yeah, not very extensive at all.
Thank you. I'm going to put in a quick plug again for our ongoing outreach programs. We are on social media on Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. Please follow us on social media. We also have a weekly e-news, and Jennifer Reginald, our marketing coordinator, has just created a new format for our weekly e-news, and we have reintroduced the new businesses piece of that e-news once a month. The e-news will include some information about new businesses opening in the county. So if you are interested in receiving that, just go to our webpage, meetcharlescounty.com, and you'll find links to sign up for our e-news. And that way you can always be in touch with what is going on in economic development. Also, you are going to receive an email with a survey about today's presentation, and we hope that you will take a minute and complete the survey so that we know what you want to hear about next time around. And I will turn it back over to Kelly.
Great. Thank you, Marcia. Thank you again for taking the last hour to hear a little bit about what economic development and our team is working on here in the office. Thank you to my team, or our team, for taking some time to answer questions. I want to say publicly, you guys have been fantastic welcoming me in over the last 2.5 months. It's been a bit of a whirlwind, but I do appreciate all of the information and getting me up to speed. And Commissioner President Collins and Commissioner Bowling, thank you for joining us today. And to the both of you, thank you. You've both also been very welcoming and helping me get up to speed. So I have an open door policy, as folks know. Please, I would love to, give me a call, stop by the office, give me a call first so I know I'll be in the office. We're still dealing a little bit with COVID complexities, but I'm available to meet virtually as well if that's best. But we look forward to working with you. We're excited about 2022 and our new, our new vision and our new direction. So thank you. Have a wonderful day. Be safe. I know we're going to be getting some rain here over the next couple of days, and we look forward to seeing you soon. Thank you.